everyone, what is going on? So we're doing more Master League for the Go Battle League. I didn't have any videos to do the Voyager Cup today. I'm going to be doing another shoutcast, but I currently don't have those videos right just yet, so we're going to be getting them. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and talk about leads and why they're so important, especially in a meta that is so restricted, right? I mean, there's only like 4, 5, 6 maybe Pokemon that you really want to use in the Master League. Melmetal being one of them, Giratina being another, although the altered form is not as common as the origin form, but as you can see, my opponent is running it. And leads definitely 100% matter. So we saw my lead, my opponent ran a Melmetal, and I led with Togekiss. So obviously we have to bail because he's going to be able to wipe me out with Rock Slides. And so we're going to switch, and then he's going to switch. So he definitely has the advantage on me. Actually going for Dragon Claw, I was a little surprised about that. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to go for my Rock Slide right now. And that's not going to be enough. One more Rock Slide should do it. He's going to be able to farm me down, though. So he did win the lead. So now I can go back into my Togekiss and feint down this Giratina. But the problem is that is going to allow him to bring in his Melmetal. And I could switch out into my origin form, but then he could bail, right? So, yeah, you guys know that leads matter. You know, I mean, it's nothing new or anything, but I wanted to talk about it in a video, I guess. And don't get frustrated even if you lose the lead and you lose the game because of it. Yes, we can all come back from lost leads. We've all done it. I've done it myself, you know, but it is incredibly difficult. There's obviously ways to go about doing it. Like if your opponent makes a bad switch, which you'll see later on in this video. Not in this battle, but in this video. So I'm going to go for the Flamethrower, hoping he would, like, call the bait. He doesn't, so he's just going to go for the Rock Slide. He actually undercharges that, which is fine. I mean, it didn't really matter, but, you know, it's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and bail out of that game. So good game. We do lose that one. Again, because of the lead. If he led with Altered Form Giratina and I led with the Togekiss and he switched into Melmetal, I could bail into my Giratina Origin Form and I'd have the advantage, right? But it just goes to show you the lead 100% matters. So as you can see here, he's leading with Origin Form, I'm leading with Togekiss, and we're just going to go to town against this Giratina. He's going to just stay in, which totally makes sense. I mean, he wants to get the Shadow Balls off, which will do a lot of damage. He actually goes for the Ominous Wind, perhaps either going for the boost or trying to bluff me, but I am just not going to shield because I was okay with even taking a Shadow Ball because I knew I'd be able to take it, and I knew that was an Ominous Wind, so I'm going to go ahead and take that because I was counting. So just, unfortunately, I clicked on Ancient Power, but that's okay. We actually do get the boost, funny enough. So even now that he comes in with Melmetal, I'm just going to stick it out. I'm going to stay in, and I'm hoping that, because I knew I couldn't get the Flamethrower, so I'm hoping he would think this was a possible Flamethrower and shield, which is going to happen. He does go ahead and shield because the Flamethrower would have been enough to knock him out. So I'm going to bring in my Giratina. He is loaded on energy. That is one way that you could possibly come back from a lost lead, is if you farm up quite a bit of energy with the Pokemon in the back. It's not going to happen for my opponent in this game, but it is something that is possible. So right now his Dialga is facing off against my Melmetal, charging up enough for a couple superpowers. So I'm going to go ahead and go for one right now and go for another. So back-to-back superpowers. This is going to do a decent amount of damage. We have both of his shields. We still have 2 shields available. So I'm going to go ahead and shield right now. It's going to be an Iron Head, which is honestly what I thought, but I knew or at least I thought I would be able to get to another superpower before he got to another Iron Head. Even if I couldn't, I mean, Iron Head wouldn't have taken me out. So now he brings in his Melmetal, just going to allow this to go off. Doesn't really matter. Superpower will be enough to knock me out, but I know my Giratina can come in and clean up with Shadow Ball. I had a shield, and even if I didn't and he got off a Rock Slide, Giratina would have still won. But if he had led with his Melmetal, right, that would have been a similar situation as game 1. We more than likely would have lost that. Again, it's not set in stone. You can come back from bad leads, but it's definitely something that is incredibly difficult to do. So props to anybody who is really high on the leaderboards, like top, you know, level, because it is very difficult to get consistent good leads. Now, I have been running into a lot, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot of Dialga leads as well as Giratina leads. That's why I'm leading with Togekiss, the same team that I've been using with my Origin Form Giratina that got me to rank 10, but I am leading with Togekiss now because I see a lot of those leads. I see less Melmetal leads, so that's why I'm using it. So I do go ahead and shield. Togekiss will be able to beat Dialga, so I do get off the Ancient Power. He actually doesn't shield. That's going to allow me to farm down the rest of Dialga. If he did shield, he would have been able to get to another Iron Head and take my last shield, but we still would have been able to beat the Dialga, so I guess he went this route, which makes sense. That's totally fine, not wanting to shield that Dialga. So I will get off my Ancient Power against Togekiss, and I'm okay with allowing my Togekiss to go down because, again, I have the Melmetal in the back, which is going to be able to wall Togekiss. Now, because Togekiss farmed up, Flamethrower is going to do quite a bit of damage, and that is a Flamethrower. I wasn't expecting a bluff. He does catch the Rock Slide. That's another way you can come back, right, is because you're able to catch charge moves to waste your opponent's energy. So that is another good strategy and a good thing to do. So that was a nice play on my opponent's end. So I'm going to bring in my Giratina. He does go for the Shadow Ball, doing a lot of damage to me, but I do survive and I do get off my Shadow Ball. I could have shielded. Actually, I get off my Ominous Wind, excuse me. Get the boost, a little bit of extra damage, but I don't know if it mattered. But he is out of shield. So I'm going to go ahead and this I have to shield this one up. So I'm going to go ahead and shield it. Going to be that Shadow Ball. I expected Ominous Wind, but I had to shield it anyway. So I'm going to charge up enough for a Superpower as well as a Rock Slide. Go for the Rock Slide right now. This is going to be just enough to knock out the Giratina. And now I'm going to go for another Rock Slide. And this is going to be enough to knock out the Togekiss. Now, he almost came back from that, and he almost won that because he made a really nice switch to waste my energy. So again, that is another way to be able to come back from lost leads. We still won it because we had a good lead, but if we didn't have that good lead, we definitely would have lost that one. So that was a really nice play on my opponent's end, on my opponent's side. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the next game. I believe we're going into Game 4. Just a moment, once I find my opponent. Any minute now. I think this took a little bit of time. I could have edited this part out. Okay, here we go. Another fellow rank 10 player. This might be Game 5. It's not. Okay, I remember Game 5. So we definitely catch a huge lead. He's going to bail into Metagross. I'm going to switch into my Giratina. Now, I was a little late on the switch. That's another way you could possibly come back from a bad lead if your opponent is late on the switch, right? Or they don't switch at all. Maybe they don't have an answer in the back, but I was definitely late on that switch, but that's okay. We're going to go for the Ominous Wind right now, and that will be enough to knock... Actually, it won't be enough. One more Shadow Claw will be enough to knock out Metagross. In comes Dialga. Going to go ahead and go for the Shadow Ball. I wasn't sure if he would shield. He does decide to shield. Totally makes sense, not wanting to take that Shadow Ball. So now I can come in with my Melmetal. I could have put in Togekiss as well, but I wanted to save Togekiss because I know he has that Giratina in the back, and Melmetal against Altered Form is okay, I guess, depending on its moveset, because it does resist Ancient Power and Dragon Claw, not Shadow Sneak. But I figured Togekiss would be better against the Giratina, so I'm going to shield that. It is an Iron Head, so perhaps going for that bluff, but we still decide to shield it up. Going to go ahead and go for the Superpower and trying to get to another one. We are successfully able to get to it, but as I said in the previous game, if your opponent pulls a really nice switch to waste your energy like that, you could possibly come back from lost lead. So I'm going to go ahead and charge up enough energy because I want to be able to use a Superpower against that Pokemon in the back, right? So that's why I charged up with my Melmetal, bringing in Togekiss. He is out of shield, so that's good for us. Going to go ahead and go for this Ancient Power. And it's not going to do much. I was basically hoping for the boost at that point. And I am going to go ahead and I believe shield this one up. No, never mind. I think I thought about shielding it last second, but then it was too late. So he does feint me, but I bring in my Melmetal. Going to go ahead and let this one go through because I need to save my energy just in case that Dialga can get off another charge move in the back. So now I know I have enough for Superpower. Dialga was not able to get off a charge move, but well, I wasn't sure if he would be able to. So Superpower will be enough to knock him out. So we do go ahead and win that again badly, but that's because my opponent pulled in a really nice switch to catch my fighting type Superpower into his Giratina. That was a really nice play on my opponent's end, but because we had such a good favorable lead, we were still able to pull it off. So jumping into the final game, now you're going to see what happens if your opponent makes the really bad play. And when I say my opponent, I mean me. I make the really bad play, and that's okay. It's okay to make a bad play. So I'm going to lead Togekiss into Gush Jump. Gush Jump cannot touch Togekiss, so this is fantastic. He's going to bail into Melmetal. I click on Melmetal, and as soon as I click on Melmetal, I'm like, I should have went into Giratina Origin. Giratina Origin is going to be able to beat Melmetal. In this situation, Melmetal vs. Melmetal could go either way, I guess. But I'd still rather have the Giratina against the Melmetal because he has a Togekiss in the back. So Melmetal would have been fantastic against that Togekiss, whereas Giratina Origin is going to be weak to it. So that was definitely a bad play, and that's going to cost me this game. I do ultimately lose it. And it's okay. It's okay. I made that mistake. It was on me. And, he's going to let his Melmetal go down, so he brings in the Togekiss, and now I do not have that Melmetal for the Togekiss. I have my own Togekiss. I cannot bring in Giratina, so this is definitely not a great situation because I know he has the Garchomp in the back, and again, I'd rather have this Togekiss against that Garchomp and the Melmetal against this Togekiss and have my Origin form knocked out at this point, right? So definitely, that's another way to come back from bad leads. My opponent is going to be able to come back from this, and that's totally okay. We all switch, make those bad switches every once in a while. I've been on the other side of it. I've benefited from my opponent's mistake switches, and I've also made those bad switches. So I do go for Shadow Ball. He does let it go through. And I'm not going to shield this incoming Outrage. I was thinking, well, maybe if it's a bluff, maybe it's a Sand Tomb, we still have a shot, but it's at an Outrage, and he's going to win that. And that's going to be it for this one, guys. I will see you in the next video. Have a good day. Bye.